everyone, and welcome back to more Sewing with Michele. Now today I'm doing something a little bit different. I decided to get a product that I've never used before and experiment. See what I come up with to make something. And that product is R&K's Sew Shrink Fabric. I can't wait to show you what I discovered, how I did things, and show you how this amazing product works. Let's get going on today's More Sewing with Michele. So, before I get going with the demos that I have for you, I'm so excited because I'll tell you this. This product I see so many uses for. Um, you can add it to wearables like your clothing, a jacket, a home deck, putting it in things that you make around the house, pillows, placemats, etc., but also quilting. There's so many things that in my brain I'm already going, ooh, that would be really cool to have fabric that is manipulated by Sew Shrink in. And I've got demos, so I'm going to show you how to do it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the product. So this comes 60 inches by 1 yard. So when you buy the package, you're going to have more than enough to create different things. You could do, a whole one piece of fabric and manipulate it and then use it in a quilt. I don't even want to get ahead of myself, but so many things that you can do with this product. Now, on back of me here, you'll see that I made this table runner. I did 5 different blocks, and I did the fabric manipulation, and you're going to see that in the videos. But you need to know that your fabric, every fabric will shrink and be manipulated a little bit differently. You're going to lose about 30% of your fabric, depending upon the type of fabric and how much it shrinks. It also depends, in my opinion, on the stitching that you do. If you do something that's very intensive stitching, like what I did here, I did a grid pattern, or if you do something loose with free motion, that's also going to affect how much your final product shrinks. The product itself, the Sew Shrink, is washer and dryer safe as well as dry cleaning. So you don't have to worry if you make something that it's not going to be safe to clean and take care of for years to come. So, like I said, home deck. Use it in your embroidery, your machine embroidery. Use it for applique. Oh my golly, the things you can do with this. So you're going to basically pick your fabrics. You're going to apply the Sew Shrink. And there's a couple ways you can do it. I found that the easiest way for what I was doing here was to simply sandwich the Sew Shrink product in between the batting and the fabric. And that way everything shrinks together. I did my grid lines, but you could pin it to your fabric if you were doing just a whole cloth. So there's different ways that you get that product onto your fabric, and depending upon what you're going to do with it. So enough said about, chatting about what I want to do. I want to show you how I did it. And basically, in back of me, I'm going to show you how I prepped the fabric and how I shrunk the fabric. And then I have 2 pieces here that I'm going to actually do a demo here to show you the shrinking in process, because it's pretty fabulous. I also shrunk this fabric that I have on video, and I tell you, it is so cool. I did just free motion on here and did the shrinking, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Once again, I'm so excited about this product. So let's get going. So I wanted to talk real quick about what I'm doing here, and what I'm doing is preparing the fabric for the stitching. And once again, I'm using the R&K Sew Shrink fabric to add some texture to some fabrics. So I wanted to show you real quick. I basically have cut these blocks 8 by 8. I have them started to be quilted, and I thought, I need to show you more. But I've added a batting piece, you can see, and then I've added, this is the Sew Shrink textile fabric manipulator. I'm not sure what I want to call it, a stabilizer type thing, but it is how this magic is going to happen. And I've simply added those together, and I'm doing the grid stitching, which I'm going to show you in just a little bit. I have, for this one, I've got multiple blocks that I'm working on, but I wanted to show you, I've also done free motion stitching on this fabric here. On this fabric here, I actually did free motion stitching, but I kind of outlined the leaves and the flowers and the stems. And then I also have some Star Wars stuff. And this block, this was a leftover quilt block. I loved using my leftover quilt blocks, but I've just added straight line quilting. And on the back side, it's got more Star Wars fabric. So I thought this would be really cool. And like I said, at the beginning, I have not used this, so I'm kind of experimenting right along there with you as far as how to prep the fabric and what it's going to turn out like. And I can't wait to get to the very end where I see this. I don't know if it's going to be a table runner. I don't know if it's going to be a quilt block, but I'm kind of going as starting off with the starting point, and then I'll go from there. As you can see, the back, I've got some threads in here. I just have batting, so I'm going to, whatever I do, I'm going to piece it together kind of like a traditional quilt after, but let's get going. So exciting. I can't wait to see where this wonderful product that I'm showcasing today, RNK's Sew Shrink Fabric, is going to take me next. So we're going to talk now real quickly about fabric prep. Now for this table runner that I'll show you a full picture when I'm done here. But basically for the 5 different blocks that I did, I used this beautiful Hawaiian print cotton quilting fabric. I also grabbed some batting, just regular old cotton batting, and also the wonderful Sew Shrink Prep. And I cut them all the same size. I think there were 9x9 blocks. I simply layered them together, sew shrink in the middle between the fabric and the batting, and then I pinned just on the 4 corners. Just super easy and super fast. I then took one of my fabulous chalk pencils that I love so much, and I just found the center. I don't know what the center is, but I found the center horizontally and vertically. And then I started stitching. So let's get to that video. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is you can see the chalk line here, and I'm just going to line that bar up with the stitch line I've already done. I'm going to go ahead and start stitching, and just making sure here, I'm going to speed it up just a tidbit here. Get to the end, I'm going to go ahead and cut, and I'm just going to continue this pattern all the way down. So just super fast stitching. Now, I know that I'm, stitch in the fast lane, so to speak. I've been told that many times. I just find it easy, soothing, and relaxing. But you don't have to stitch this fast, that's for sure. You can go at whatever speed you feel comfortable with. So let me pull that back one more time. And once again, letting the machine doing the work here. I'm not really pulling the fabric, I'm just simply guiding it through. And then all I have to do is flip it over, and let me do the last little stitches here on the other side. And then within just a short period, I will have my fabric prepped. I've got to do one more block before I go on to the next step. But I wanted to show you just how easy and simple it is to prep this fabric. And the Sew Shrink fabric, just so you know, I have never used it before. I've seen it in the Moore stores many times, and I think I actually saw something that was made by one of our customers, and I was intrigued. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it in, because I wanted to show you what you can do with it and also experiment with it myself, just like you would if you bought a new product. So let me go ahead. I think I have one more stitch line after this one. And I am simply just winging this. I decided, I grabbed this Hawaiian print fabric, and I thought it would be really cool if it was, almost done here, really cool if it was used to make these quilt blocks. And then I'm simply going to add a border around it. So you can see now my grids are all done on here. And I'm going to finish this last block here that I kind of showed you. And then I'll move on to the next step. But that's for fabric prep. That's all I've done. And it's been super easy and interesting so far. Can't wait to see what's next. Now let me show you how I steamed these wonderful quilt blocks. Okay, so I've got my first block and I'm doing the steaming part. I've got the iron set on steam. As you can see, it's coming, so I'm just going to start steaming away. So it says not to touch the fabric to the iron as far as the sew shrink. So I'm just continuing. Oh, look, we got a little bit of shrinkage right there in that corner. There it goes again. Oh, this is exciting. So hopefully you're going to be able to see this. I will show it three-dimensionally, but you can see right here, look, it's completely shrinking. So let me continue. It's kind of totally exciting. You can see to get all these blocks done, I'm going to need a lot of water. There it goes again. It's shrinking. Very cool. And I like that I have this Alicio iron where I can simply hold it up and you guys can see the steam doing the job. So I want to have it kind of uniform all the way through. Still going. I can still see shrinking. Look at that. That is so cool. This is turning out so pretty. So when this block is done, obviously I'm going to trim it up. But look how cool that is. We've got a few more places that I've got to kind of get the shrinking going. But this is it kind of reminds me of smocking and that type of look that we get. So very cool. It's almost done now. One more section over here. Let me turn it so I can get it. So I want everything to be very uniform throughout so the shrinking looks, you know, the same all the way around. Almost done. I think that's almost good. One more section right here. I'm going to do a little bit more. Okay, so let me show you. So I'm going to pull over. This is one of the blocks before I have done any steaming. So just a grid pattern. Now look at the difference. Isn't that cool? It's got that puffy textured look, and oh my gosh, I cannot wait to create with this a little more. It has a couple spots that I want to steam just a little bit more right here and here. But as you can see, it's done exactly what I thought it would do. It's kind of shrinking and we've got the grid pattern. You can still see the design of the floral Hawaiian print. So what a difference. And now I'm going to take that and finish it up for the rest of the blocks. And then I'm going to create something with it. You can see the back, how it turned kind of puffy. And oh, I I'm so excited. I can't wait to get on with this. So there we go. That's that part. So it was so much fun to make this cool Hawaiian print table runner. So I'm going to show you a close-up picture right here where you can see the full table runner. And I'm going to show you a real quick video also to show you the details up close that shows that shrinking and the fabric manipulation that makes this R&K Sew Shrink product so cool. Okay, so I wanted to show you just how cool it looks up close with the Sew Shrink fabric. So you can see here's my block, but if you look on the side, see the ridges and the waves, and you can see that fabric has completely shrunk and crinkled. It kind of gives me, remember those dresses? Oh my gosh, I used to wear them in the 70s that had smocking on the bodice, that type of thing. But you can see that it's completely shrunk and crinkled and giving me this really cool look. I love this Sew Shrink fabric. So much fun. So I want to show you up close what you can do using the power of steam from your irons to manipulate this fabric. So remember I had the floral fabric and I basically just did free motion around. I'm going to show you on the close-up what exactly that looks like. So you can see that there's open areas that kind of crinkle a little bit, but where I've done all that stitching, it really creates a super unique look to the stippling. Now the next one that I went ahead and had fun shrinking was this piece of fabric here. You can see I basically sandwiched the Sew Shrink product in between the two pieces of fabric. And let me show you that on the close-up. Look how cool that looks. So it's nice and crinkled. You got valleys in there of your fabric, but yet it's stiff as can be. Not stiff isn't a bad thing. It's not stiff like you can't move it. It's very pliable, but the fabric has definitely changed the way it looks and feels. It's sturdy and strong, flexible. It doesn't feel like there's anything in there. It just feels like you're crunching, two pieces of cotton fabric together. So it's not going to be difficult against your skin. It's not going to be uncomfortable. And then the last one that I want to show you was the Star Wars fabric. And this one I did straight line quilting. Let me show you on the close-up camera. So you can see there's Chewbacca, C-3PO. Yoda has his head cut off, but that's all right. And on the back, I've got just other Star Wars fabric. Now, because this fabric I manipulated with just straight line quilting, you can see that it shrunk basically in that direction. So I didn't end up, I started with a square. It's no longer a square, but it is super cool. So I could simply square this block up and use it for basically anything. But it's got ridges and valleys. I'm telling you, this is just so much fun. These are just 3 pieces of fabric, plus I did all of the ones for the quilt that I have in back of you, that table runner. So much fun. I can't wait to see what I come up with to make next. But it's time for you to do that as well. So you're going to want to go to moors-sew.com to pick up your R&K Sew Shrink fabric product. And you can also click on the link in the description and go to the More Sewing with Michele landing page where you can go to all of the items that we have, as well as the Lucio steam iron. I don't know if I have any steam left. I had turned it off. But don't forget, you're going to want to get this large piece, 60 inches by 1 yard. So that's a lot of product for you to play around with. And I have one more special video to show you. It's showing the back side when I'm steaming to show you how that fabric manipulator works. And you can see it firsthand on this video next. So I wanted to show you from the back side. You can see my free motion stitching and you can see the Sew Shrink stabilizer, I guess is what I'm going to call it. But I wanted to show you, I don't know why, what it looks like to shrink it from the back side. So I've got my wonderful Lucio steam iron ready to go. And let's get going. So here we go, steaming away. Oh, and look, you can see the product shrinking. Let me pull it away a little bit. I will say one thing. I don't think I've used the steam feature on my iron like this ever before. I am like steaming away. So I don't have stitching all over, so I don't know if that makes a difference. Let me show you how it's just shrunk this plastic. Now if I turn it over, look how cool that looks. Okay, I gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. Let's get this flower business here all done. Steamy, steamy, steamy. I'm going to turn it over now. You can kind of see from the back, but I want to show, well, I can't finish it up from the back because I don't want it to, I can't shrink from the other side because it will, I'm sorry, I didn't finish my thought process here. I'm in such a weird place because I'm super excited from doing this, and I'm trying to make sure the iron keeps steaming, and I've got to push the buttons, and I got to talk at the same time. So, but let me let the iron get all ready to steam again. You can see though why and how it does that magic. It's basically shrinking the So Shrink It product is shrinking and forcing that fabric to come together. Now I really want to get this section here, so I'm going to hold it over and keep steaming away. See if I can get this to shrink a little bit more, especially here where the flower is. I don't know if I need to add more water. Let it juice up. Let's try again. You know, it is a hot summer day here, and all this steam is making me even hotter. But it's all going to be worth it in the end. I just want to make sure that we've got everything as shrunk as it's going to get. Add a little heat all the way around. And I think we're good. No matter how much I go further, it's not really shrinking any further. So let me turn it to the other side. Oh my golly, look how cool that looks. Now, that definitely looks like smocking. It gives a unique appearance to the front of the fabric. How stinking cool. I am so excited. I don't know. I might be trying to so shrink everything, but I love the way that looks. I love that some of the areas that I left are kind of still whole, but these other areas are gathered. So pretty. So that's one more thing. Ooh, what's next? So what do you think? Are you going to start manipulating your fabric and have all of the fun that I did? I sure hope so. I know that either with straight line quilting on the Star Wars block that I have there, or free motion in just a random pattern, or in this one where I just highlighted the flower and the designs in the actual print, or in the table runner I made before. I had a blast using this R&K So Shrink product, and I know you will too. So don't forget, check us out at moors-sew.com where you can pick up your products today and start manipulating your days away. And that's about all the time we have today for More Sewing with Michele. I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Until then, bye-bye.